This video starts off with my experience with Blair Airlines. Pearson Airport, which is Canada's largest airport, is a mess right now, but thankfully we had no issues when traveling back in June. We checked in online a day before our 6 a.m. flight and only took a carry-on. Once we landed in Halifax, we headed over to the car rental spot to pick up our car for the week. The rental was our greatest expense on this trip, costing us $1,000 for 7 days. We got to see stunning views, so it was worth it. Our Airbnb check-in wasn't until 3 p.m, so we grabbed lunch at a restaurant near the airport. I had the shrimp stir-fry. It reminded me of Uncle Ben's minute rice. After lunch, we grabbed some groceries and checked out Long Lake Provincial Park. It's only a 15-minute drive from downtown Halifax and a great spot for paddling, swimming, and hiking. Just got to our Airbnb here in Halifax. This is the first Airbnb of 3. Looks like a brand new space. It's a basement apartment. Everything looks and feels brand new, so that's nice. The bathroom is huge. Look at this shower. Doesn't really feel like a basement, which is also good. Came back from our grocery run. Hoping this lasts us 3 days before we drive over to Cape Breton. And here's the room where I'll be staying. Buttered almond and chocolate. Boring chocolate.
Chocolate.
Ooh. It's day 2 of Nova Scotia and we're gonna head to Lunenburg today, which is a small town an hour away. Our first mission is to get out of this narrow driveway. See how I do with this rental car. Pray for me.
Yeah, lean more to the right. You get a lot of space on the right. You lean, yeah, just turn it. You got a lot, you can turn a lot. Yeah.
Oof, tight squeeze.
Threading the needle, for sure.
Lunenburg is a port town on the south shore of Nova Scotia. It was founded in 1753 and was designated a World Heritage Site by UNESCO in 1995. What makes the town so special are the brightly painted British colonial buildings built in the 1750s. Many of them are still standing to this day, and it was fun to walk around and see the architecture and different colors. Along the Lunenburg waterfront is the exact replica of a ship called the Bluenose. It's a fishing and racing vessel that was built in 1921 in Lunenburg. You may have seen it on Canada's dime. The replica, Bluenose 2, was commissioned for around $300,000 in 1961 as a marketing tool for beer. Although the ship isn't used for racing now, the Bluenose 2 tours the Atlantic and the Gulf of St. Lawrence. Coastal towns have the best and freshest seafood. We stopped at the Grand Banker for lunch. I had the seafood linguine, which had haddock, scallops, shrimp, and mussels. We then decided to take the more scenic route to Penny's Cove. There's just something about driving along the ocean. Our first stop was at Blue Rocks. It's still a working fishing village, and it was initially founded by a group of artists and photographers beginning in the 1940s. According to TripAdvisor, the fish shack sitting in the water is the most photographed building in the county. Next, we made a quick stop at Mahone Bay. The view across the harbor is of three prominent churches: St. James Anglican, St. John's Evangelical Lutheran, and Trinity United. It has become an iconic image of Nova Scotia, frequently photographed and featured on postcards and calendars. Our last stop of the day was at Peggy's Cove. Nova Scotia is home to over 160 historic lighthouses, and the most well-known lighthouse is Peggy's Point Lighthouse, which was built in 1915. Legend has it that Peggy's Cove was named after a shipwreck survivor named Peggy. She was the sole survivor of a wreck, and as she settled in and married a local fisherman, she became known as Peggy of the Cove. On our third day in Atlantic Canada, we drove to New Brunswick. We literally went to New Brunswick just to see the Hopewell rocks. It was a 6-hour drive there and back to Halifax, so it was a long day for us. Also called the Flower Pot Rocks, these rock formations stand 40 to 70 feet tall and were created by tidal erosion. One of my highlights on this trip was kayaking at the Hopewell rocks. It was my brother's first time kayaking, so it was nice to share this experience with him. That's exciting. Okay.
You want to game kayak?
Turns out he was too tall for the kayak's rudder, so steering was not pleasant. Let's just say there was a lot of crashing into rocks.
You gotta turn, Dad. Turn, Dad, turn. Dad, you gotta turn. Okay, we're gonna hit the rock. Oh. This way, we're gonna turn right. Okay. What?
Just parts.
Right. Yeah.
It was really cool to learn about the local wildlife, including the peregrine falcon. It's the fastest bird in the world, and we got to see one while kayaking.
Wowie! It's sick, y'all.
Yeah, so at a high tide, the water will just be like at the highest tide of the year, which only usually happens once, twice a year. The water will be almost touching the top. We won't be able to kayak through it.
Wow.
But today, because the water is what it is, we should be able to kayak through.
Again, keep in mind how high my paddle is, and I can touch. All right?
Another cool thing about the Bay of Fundy is the extreme tidal range, which means that you can view the rocks at high tide by kayaking to them, or at low tide by walking on the ocean's shore.
So we are hiking down to Egypt Falls, and there's a rope assistance that's been set up for us, for hikers like us who are newbies. But this hike is pretty steep, and it's raining, so the rope is very helpful. You can hear the water. Hello.
Are they going to be wondering why I'm saying hello?
Who? Oh yeah. He's talking to the bears. We are currently at the base of Egypt Falls here in, I guess this is Cape Breton, in Nova Scotia, and we finished coming down and now we have to climb up. Very steep, there's ropes to assist us. So yeah, it's a 30-minute hike back up this very steep hill. Here we go! So beautiful. We finished the 10-kilometer hike in 2 hours. Proud of us. Slow down, slow down.
How about you?
Oh,
You're doing like full-on sharp turns.
oh, jokes, there's a rope right there.